welcome to Dreamy Sleep Tales. Tonight, we light a candle of imagination and journey to Drowsy Hollow, where an ancient candlemaker weaves dreams from stardust and lavender. So find your coziest spot, take a slow, calming breath, and let the warm glow of our story carry you into the sweetest of nights. Let's begin. In the valley between two emerald green ridges lies Drowsy Hollow, a village seemingly untouched by the rush of time. Here, dusk lingers like an old friend, an endless twilight woven of soft indigo and rose-hued clouds. Lanterns of wrought iron hang from every street corner, their panes mottled by drifting mist. Each lantern glows with a comfortable warmth, guiding villagers homeward as the crickets begin their evening song. Cobblestone lanes wind around low stone cottages, their roofs cloaked in moss and ivy. Gardens of night-blooming flowers spill moonlight scents into the air. Jasmine, honeysuckle, and a rare midnight rose whose petals catch starlight like tiny mirrors. In Drowsy Hollow, even the air feels softer, as though every gust of wind has been hushed with a lullaby. At the edge of town, where the last lantern flickers against the embrace of the ancient forest, stands Thalow's cottage. Built of weathered stone and reclaimed timber, it seems to grow organically from the earth itself. Ivy winds up one wall, curling around the roof's eaves, and a single window glows like an ember in the dim. Inside, the gentle crackle of a hearth fire mingles with the scent of honeyed beeswax and lavender. Shelves upon shelves are lined with candles of every size, shape, and hue. Emerald tapers, moon-white spheres, rose-tinted pillars, and candles threaded with silver stardust. No one remembers when Thalow first arrived in Drowsy Hollow. Some say he emerged on a moonless night, guided by a lost child's tears. Others whisper he learned his craft from the moon goddess herself. What is certain is that those who sleep by his candles awaken refreshed, as though the candlelight carried them on wings of their most needed dream. Thalow himself is a slender old man, bent like a willow beneath the weight of ancient wisdom. His robes are simple, forest green tunic and dusk-colored trousers, and his hands are forever speckled with wax. His beard, long and silver, brushes the top of his leather apron, and his eyes glow with gentle warmth, as though lit by inner embers. When he speaks, his voice is low and soft, each word chosen like a petal laid upon a silent pond. Far beyond Drowsy Hollow's soft glow, a traveler named Leora carried a heart heavier than the satchel on her back. For years, she wandered through mountain passes and desert dunes, across starlit plains and roaring city streets. She collected sights and stories, tasting every sunrise and chasing every sunset. But sleep refused her. Night after sleepless night, Leora lay beneath unfamiliar skies, her mind a whirlwind of regrets and hopes. When dawn finally broke, she rose like a ghost, worn thin by unspoken fears and restless thoughts. She longed for the deep softness of true sleep, the kind that hushes the mind and cradles the soul. One autumn evening, under a sky painted with lingering rose and lavender, Leora descended the last hill into Drowsy Hollow. Lantern light beckoned her like a promise. She paused at the village fountain, its water still and gleaming in twilight, and closed her eyes, letting the hush wash over her. When she opened them again, she noticed a faint glow at the forest's edge. Talo's cottage. With tentative steps, she approached the ivy-clad walls. She knocked once, twice. At the third knock, the heavy wooden door swung inward on silent hinges. There stood Thalo, framed in golden light, as if he were carved from candle flame itself. "Good evening, traveler," he said, voice warm as a hearth. "You look tired. Please, come in." Inside, the cottage felt like a sanctuary. Candles of every hue glowed softly, their scents dancing together. Lavender for calm, vanilla for sweetness, sea salt for peace, and a rare moonflower for wonder. A hearth crackled in the corner, where a cauldron of beeswax warmed over gentle coals. Thalo guided Leora to a low table by the window, where the last light of dusk met the candlelight's glow. He produced 3 simple items: a block of ivory white beeswax, harvested from hives tended under moonlight, a pouch of lavender buds, dried at twilight's hush, and a bundle of starlight thread wicks, each spun from silk kissed by the Milky Way. "Every candle I make," Thalo explained as he set the items before her, is conjured for one soul to carry its sleeper into the perfect dream. But first, I must learn who you are and what you truly need. Leora sank onto a cushion, her shoulders heavy with relief at being understood. She told him of her endless journeys, the nights of tossing and turning, the ache of missing rest. She spoke of her longing to dream of home, though she had long forgotten where or even what home was. Thalo listened without interruption, his eyes reflecting the flicker of the hearth. When she finished, he smiled kindly. "Thank you for your honesty," he said. "Now, let us begin." He crumbled a handful of lavender into a shallow dish and asked Leora to inhale its fragrance. As she breathed deeply, the air around them seemed to slow. Every sound softened. Next, he heated the beeswax until it flowed like warm honey. With gentle hands, he dipped a wick into the molten wax and pulled it through, sealing lavender buds along its length. Each slow pull wove serenity into the core of the candle. Then came the stardust, almost invisible to the eye, yet present in every dream it touches. Thalo whispered a low invocation as he folded the stardust into the wax's heart. "May your dreams be guided by light," he murmured, "and your sleep be deeper than the ocean's calm." At last, he pressed the still warm candle into a mold carved like a crescent moon. When he removed it, the candle gleamed softly, and a small emblem of a feather appeared on its side, symbol of gentle rest. Thalo placed the completed candle into Leora's hands. "This is yours," he said. "Light it tonight, just before you lay your head to rest. Trust the flame to carry you where you most need to go." Leora's fingers wrapped around the pale green taper threaded with lavender and stardust. As she held it, she felt an unfamiliar calm bloom in her chest. A promised hush she had long believed impossible. That night, in the simple cot at the back of Thalo's cottage, Leora lit the candle's wick. Its flame burned with a tranquil glow, neither too bright nor too dim, as though it existed in a world beyond shadow. The gentle scent of lavender and honeyed wax drifted around her, and for the first time in months, her eyelids grew heavy of their own accord. As her breathing deepened, the edges of the room began to dissolve, The hearth's crackle softened into a distant murmur, and the cottage walls melted into silver mist. When Leora next opened her eyes, she stood beneath towering trees whose leaves shimmered like stars. A soft path of moonlit moss wound between ancient trunks, inviting her deeper. Above, fireflies danced in slow arcs, their glow writing lullabies upon the night air. Every footstep turned moss to light, leaving behind tiny blooms of luminescence. Here, in the dreaming forest, time did not rush. A gentle breeze whispered through the leaves, carrying a song half heard, a lullaby of water over stone, of wind sighing through grasses, of distant bells chiming on hidden ridges. Drawn by that song, Leora followed the path until she reached a moonlit pond rimmed with silver pebbles. The water mirrored the sky so perfectly it felt as though she stood between two heavens. Kneeling at the edge, she dipped her fingers in and felt a warmth pulse through her veins. Tiny lights, luminescent fish no larger than her thumbnail, glimmered beneath the surface, darting between her fingers before vanishing into shadow. A voice, soft as water, spoke. "Why do you wander, child of many roads?" Leora looked around but saw no speaker. "I carry burdens of thought," she confessed. "Regrets I cannot lay down, worries that chase me even in sleep." The pond's surface rippled and the voice sighed. "Rest comes not from flight, but from release. Let go, and the waters will hold your cares." Closing her eyes, Leora exhaled the tightness in her chest. She pictured each worry as a leaf upon the pond, drifting away until the water lay calm once more. When she opened her eyes, the surface was glassy, reflecting a peace she had never known. From the depths rose a single glowing scale, drifting to her palm. "Keep this," the voice said, a reminder that release brings room for gentleness. Scale in hand, Leora rose and continued along a path of glowing petals, each pulse of light echoing her steady heartbeat. Ahead, beneath an arch of entwined branches, she glimpsed 3 figures waiting in silent welcome. The guardians of stillness, whose watchful presence would guide her to the heart of Dream's sanctuary. Hand in hand with the glowing petals, Leora wandered beneath the arch of entwined branches. Beyond it lay a moonlit glade, its center circled by 3 ancient oaks whose roots wove together like a protective embrace. Bathed in silver light, 3 figures awaited her arrival, the guardians of stillness. The first was a tall woman with hair spun from moonbeams and eyes the color of calm midnight. Her gown trailed softly across the moss, and when she moved, the air stilled as though honoring her passage. The second, a child no older than 7, wore a simple tunic of mist grey and laughed in gentle chimes, so quiet that her giggle felt like a breath of wind through pine needles. The third was a majestic stag, antlers crowned with tiny lanterns whose flames flickered without consuming fuel, casting a warm amber glow. As Leora approached, each guardian stepped forward in turn. The moonbeam-haired woman placed her slender hand upon Leora's heart. "You have learned release at the moonlit pond," she whispered. "Now learn to dwell in the moment, to savor each breath and sound without haste." The child knelt and offered Leora a single silver leaf, its veins shimmering faintly. "This is the gift of presence," the child said, voice like distant bells. "Let it remind you, no thought, no fear need reign in a moment you fully live." The stag dipped his head, lowering one lantern until its glow was level with Leora's eyes. His deep, sonorous thought formed in her mind like a message carried by wind. And this lantern, she understood, is the light of acceptance. Let it shine upon yourself, not to judge nor to censure, but to witness every part of you in compassionate radiance. As the guardians placed their gifts into her hands, Leora felt a gentle warmth bloom within her chest. The flickering lantern light aligned with her heartbeat. The silver leaf pulsed softly like a living thing. She bowed deeply in gratitude, tears sparkling on her lashes. In silence, the 3 formed a circle around her and raised their hands, woman, child, and stag, uniting the 3 lights. The tender glow of release, the clarity of presence, and the warmth of acceptance. The forest itself seemed to sigh, its shadows receding as if drawn into the circle's center. Then, without a word, the guardians stepped back, their forms dissolving into motes of silver light that drifted upward to join the drifting stars. Lyora was left alone, heart full, mind clear, spirit at rest, ready to continue deeper into the heart of the dreaming forest. Beyond the glade, Leora found a narrow path that led to the soft murmur of water. She followed it until the trees gave way to reveal a river whose surface sang a lullaby. Each note flowed from the water itself, a melody woven from currents slipping over smooth stones and whispering under overhanging reeds. She knelt at the riverbank and cupped water in her hands. As she lifted it to her lips, the river's song grew in strength, its gentle cadences synchronizing with her own breath. The melody spoke of release and renewal, of burdens laid down and carried away by soothing currents. Walking upstream, Leora paused at a stand of luminescent reeds whose stalks glowed with the same pale light as her silver leaf. When she brushed against them, each reed hummed its own tender note, adding harmony to the river's lullaby. Closing her eyes, she allowed the combined music to wash over her, each vibration tumbling through her body like pebbles over water, smoothing, softening, stilling. A sudden hush fell as she reached a low waterfall that spilled into a shallow pool. Moonlight struck the falling water, turning droplets into falling stars. Leora sat upon a smooth stone at the pool's edge, the three gifts resting on her lap. She laid the glowing scale upon the water's surface and watched as it pulsed once, then dissolved into ripples that carried its light downstream. Next, she floated the silver leaf. It drifted on the current, its light undimmed, a silent promise that presence need not be forced. It simply is, in every gentle moment of awareness. Finally, she lit the tiny lantern, holding it just above the water. Its flame danced, reflecting in the pool like a twin star. As the river lullaby reached a crescendo, the lantern's light merged with the waterfall's starlight, and for an instant, Leora felt her consciousness expand, melding with the river, the forest, and the night sky itself. When the final notes faded, she found herself alone once more. The river's song softened into the steady murmur of flowing water. Though the gifts had been released into the stream, their lessons remained alive within her. Release, presence, and acceptance flowing through her veins like rivers through the land. Gathering herself, Leora rose and brushed her palms together. Ahead, the path wound back toward Thalo's cottage, and through the trees she could already glimpse the warm glow of its window. As she walked, each footstep echoed with newfound peace, as though the forest itself guided her home. As the first pale fingers of dawn brushed the horizon, Leora felt warmth at her cheeks and the soft clap of feathered wings at her window. The candle's flame beside her cot dwindled to a gentle ember, its lavender honey scent lingering like a promise. She stretched her arms and sat up, noticing how deeply rested she felt, more so than she had in countless moons. Thalo stood quietly in the doorway, his silver beard catching the morning light. He held a small wooden box, its surface smooth and carved with the feather emblem from Leora's candle. "Good morning," he said, his voice soft as the hearth's final crackle. "How did you find your journey within the dreaming forest?" Leora traced her fingertips over the feather carving. She began, but words felt too small. Finally, she gathered the three treasures in her palms: the glowing fish scale, the silver leaf, and the tiny lantern. Each still pulsed faintly, as though woven into her very being. She lifted her gaze. "I found release, presence, and acceptance," she whispered. "And when I let go, I discovered peace I thought lost." The lantern's warm glow reminded her of her own heartbeat, steady and calm. Thalo smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Those lessons will guide you far beyond Drowsy Hollow," he said, opening the box and placing her treasures inside. "Keep them safe until you meet another who needs their light." Leora bowed her head in gratitude. As she rose, the scent of dew and lavender mingled in the cool air, and she felt the forest's hush still echoing in her bones. She stepped outside just as the lanterns in the village flickered one last time before the sun claimed the sky. With the wooden box tucked beneath her arm, Leora set out down the village lane. Every step felt buoyant, as though her feet scarcely touched the cobblestones. Birds, robin redbreasts, and nightingales sang their morning songs, unaware of the magic stirring in the traveler's heart. After a day's journey, Leora reached a windswept seaside hamlet where gulls wheeled above tiled roofs and the salt breeze carried the lullaby of waves against stone piers. There she met Rafa, a young fisherman whose eyes held the same restless fatigue she had once known. Each night, he confessed, he tossed among nets of worry, fearing the open sea that sustained his family. Remembering the fish scale's lesson of release, Leora held out the wooden box. "Take this," she said, placing the scale in his rough palm. "Let its light remind you to cast your fears upon the current. They will drift away, and you will find calm beneath the tide." That evening, Rafa set his lantern and the glowing scale upon the prow of his boat. As he pushed out to sea, the scale's soft pulse seemed to lull the waves themselves. From shore, Leora watched him guide his craft with ease she had never seen before. The sea's yawning expanse reduced to a gentle cradle beneath the morning star. Before dawn, Rafa returned, nets brimming with fish and eyes alight with wonder. "It was as though the ocean sang to me," he marveled, shaking Leora's hand with gratitude. "Your gift has freed me." Leora smiled, heart aglow. In helping another release his burden, she had deepened her own peace, a reminder that the flame of one's soul can kindle hope in many. Ever onward, Leora ventured into a grand city of marble columns and echoing arcades. There, she discovered two venerable scholars locked in fierce debate over an ancient manuscript said to hold the world's forgotten wisdom. The men, Master Corin of the Western Archive and Professor Yara of the Eastern Hall, stood at odds, their words sharp as dueling blades. Though her old self might have slipped away quietly, Leora recalled the leaf of presence and the lantern of acceptance still resonating within her. She approached the disputants beneath arched ceilings, where sunlight danced through stained glass in sapphire and garnet. "Good scholars," she began gently, "your passion honors the manuscript's legacy, but conflict may shatter the wisdom you seek to preserve." She gathered them in conversation, inviting each to share not their grievances, but why they loved the manuscript. Corin's eyes softened as he spoke of the poetry in its margins, Yara's voice trembled with reverence for its maps of constellations. When both hearts had spoken, Leora asked them to light a single candle together. The flame flickered, washing the marble in softened gold. "In this light," she said, "we share a single purpose. Let acceptance guide your hearts and presence bind your friendship." By candle's glow, the scholars placed quills aside and embraced a plan to found a shared reading hall open to all seekers. As they shook hands, Leora felt the lantern of acceptance shine within her chest. Its warmth an unspoken promise that true wisdom grows in unity, not division. The road back to Drowsy Hollow wound through rolling meadows and silent woodlands that seemed to recognize Leora's changed heart. Dawn's first light painted the sky in soft rose and gold as she crested the last hill. There, nestled in the valley, lay the village she had once found by chance, its lanterns still glowing faintly against the early mist. Villagers gathering water at the well paused to greet her, their eyes alight with wonder. The baker set down his basket of fresh bread. The blacksmith paused mid-swing, and even the children stayed their play to wave. News had spread of the traveler who returned with calm in her step and a story of dreams carried by candlelight. As Leora entered the village square, the twilight lanterns winked out one by one, yielding to morning's warmth. She paused before Thalo's cottage, its ivy-clad walls glowing softly. For a moment, the old wooden door remained closed, an unspoken invitation to the memory of her first arrival. Thalo emerged, leaning on his carved walking stick. His eyes, gentle as ever, reflected both pride and relief. For a heartbeat, neither spoke. Then Leora crossed the threshold and embraced him, feeling again the quiet strength of his presence. "You have brought yourself home," Thalo murmured, his voice like a heart's final sigh. "But more than that, you've brought the light of your journey back to us all." Inside the cottage, the shelves of candles glowed in welcome. Thalo placed Leora's empty wooden box on the table and retrieved a small leather pouch from his robe. He untied the drawstrings and revealed a single, thimble-sized candle. Its wax tinted the pale lilac of dawn. "This," he said, "is the ember of Everlight, no larger than a heartbeat, yet within it lives the warmth of every lesson you have learned. Release, presence, and acceptance. Light it whenever your own path grows dim, and it will guide you back to the still point within. Leora lifted the tiny candle, its flame dancing even before she struck a match. She felt the combined weight of every gift she had given away. The fish scale drifting on distant seas, the silver leaf rustling through foreign winds, the lantern's glow kindling shared peace in marble halls, and realized that each act of kindness had refilled her own heart tenfold. Thalo placed a hand on her shoulder. "Dreams are born of shared light," he said. "Take this ember and carry it as both memory and promise. Let it remind you that home is not merely a place, but the gentle glow we kindle in others and ourselves." As Leora slipped the ember of everlight into her satchel, the cottage filled with a hush more profound than any before. A silence rich with unspoken gratitude and the steady pulse of countless unseen flame hearts. When dusk falls and lanterns flicker on every corner of your world, remember the tale of Drowsy Hollow and its humble candlemaker. Recall the pond that taught release, the guardians who bestowed presence and acceptance, and the ember of everlight, small enough to rest upon a fingertip, yet powerful enough to light 1,000 paths. Each of us carries burdens, worries that swirl like autumn leaves, regrets that linger like shadows at twilight. Yet within every heart burns a spark of everlight, a gift we give ourselves when we let go, remain fully here, and hold ourselves in gentle kindness. Sleep now, dear listener, and imagine the soft glow of a candle flame illuminating your dreams. Feel the hush of the dreaming forest, the lullaby of water over stone, and the warmth of a tiny ember guiding you home. May your nights be ever calm, your dreams ever bright, and your heart ever alight with the shared magic of release, presence, and acceptance. Good night, and sleep well beneath the light of your own everlight. So, dear listeners, thank you for joining us on this peaceful journey through the world of dreams. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel for more soothing stories. Share this video with your friends and family so they can also enjoy a peaceful escape. and let us know in the comments what topic you'd like to hear next. Until next time, may your dreams be as peaceful as the quietest of nights. Sleep well and good night.